as you can see, there is a cartoon bear on the screen. Now, you may be like, do I remember this cartoon bear from back in the day? Yeah, you might. 20 hours ago, Bering uploaded a video. It's genuinely surprising. I didn't know Bering was still a guy. And this video is titled, "Can Black People Be Racist?" Yes. Still on his stuff, huh? Cool, man. Wow.
It's cool.
Jennison, thanks for following. I love a good Rant Sona reunion.
Today, ladies.
Nice bright white thing. Everybody loves looking at bright white screens. Everybody loves it. Let's bask in the glow. This is a brand new one, 20 hours ago.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to solve racism. That's right, we're solving
racism. Why did trolls like to say solve racism? As if it's like a fucking you can't just get people to stop thinking other people are lesser because of the way they look. It's like, we can if you help. We can actually just stop being racist. It's actually a thing we can do. Did you know that? If we stop passing it on to the next generation of people, it'll stop being a thing. Smart.
Racism right here on the Bering channel. Well, we're not really, but we're going to look at racism. And specifically, who can be racist? Because there seems to be a couple of definitions of racism these days. There's the old-fashioned correct definition of racism, as per the Collins Dictionary, which says...
The Collins Dictionary.
Racism is the belief that people of some races are inferior to others, and the behaviour which is the result of this belief. Racism also refers to the aspects of society which prevent people of some racial groups from having the same privileges and opportunities as people from other races.
So you see this second part here? I believe he's going to say something about like the power dynamics definition. This right here, like, is talking about systemic racism. Racism refers to aspects of society which prevent people of some racial groups from having the same privileges and opportunities as people from other races. This is a description of a thing he's about to say he disagrees with, while agreeing with this. We're 41 seconds in. Not the brightest guy. Not the brightest guy.
Nice and simple. If you think your race is better than another race, you're probably racist. But then there's these fluffed up versions, like the one from the Australian Human Rights Commission, that says
human rights? Oh no!
Racism is the process by systems and policies, actions and attitudes create inequitable opportunities and outcomes for people based on race. Yep. You see, it's the systemic systems of systematic systems, whatever the fuck that means.
Whatever the fuck that means. Couldn't care to learn about stuff. The systems of policy. Literally, this is what the last thing said. It said it out loud. I mean, Mr. Bering. Hold on, let's go. We're gonna go all the way to it. Look at it. First, aspects of society which prevent some racial groups from having the same privileges and opportunities as people from other races. So they just didn't use system. They didn't use the word system. They said aspects of society. It was a looser. So it's just you're upset that the other one's slightly more specific.
You see, it's the systemic systems of systematic systems, whatever the fuck that means.
I would love to talk to Bering. Do you think Bering is like man enough for something like that? There's no way this guy would actually fucking have a chat, right? He's just far too dumb. Ain't no way. He'd come on and he would immediately try to get me to block him. Yeah, he would say a slur or something. He'd be like, ooh. Anyway, I would love to talk to Bering about any topic at all. This could be one.
Racism is more than just prejudice in thought or action. Oh, it is. It occurs when this prejudice, whether individual or institutional, is accompanied by the power to discriminate against, oppress, or limit the rights of others. So it's not good enough anymore just to hate or discriminate against another race. No, that doesn't make you racist. You have to have the power to discriminate against those people. It's basically intersectional racism, which basically means if you don't have the institutionalized, systematical power to oppress others, then you can't be racist.
That's not what it means. It just means that it's not like capital R racism. It's not like what racism is. Is like, I guess he imagines in his head like someone lower on the totem. Is that wait that phrase has got to be part of the problem, right? The lower on the totem pole, that's got to be. Anyway, lower on the social pecking order. So he imagines like some sort of oppression Olympics thing here, where it's like if you're low enough, you're not racist. Like that's just not how it works, man. That's just your inability to understand what the fuck anyone's talking about. Like, he obviously has no concept of the conversation.
And this thought tends to prevail amongst the black community of America. And to me, it's just ignorant and wrong. We'll have a look at a few examples right after this quick sponsor. The big in time life only content from all organic shells devices. One
need to stop saying.
Deal in the video description or in the pinned comment.
Cool. Common phrases white people need to stop saying. But Juan. No, but I'm not racist.
But what if I'm not racist?
He's racist. You're racist.
Baby. Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Does it mean you're a terrible, awful, disgusting human? No.
Oh, I'm a terrible, disgusting, awful human. I'm just not racist. Stop telling me what I am and what I'm not.
Having racist ideologies and implicit biases in the society we live in is inevitable. So instead of focusing all your energy on trying to convince people that you're not racist, how about you focus that energy on trying to work to be anti-racist and educate yourself?
I mean, this is a young person's understanding of this. It's gonna be a little what's the word? Brief, but it's not like 100% wrong. Like, what she's talking about in general is like dudes that are like, I'm not racist, and then like their actions say otherwise. Like when you're just like claiming. This is the same kind of people when they claim allyship, for instance. And it's just like, you kind of don't get to. Other people sort of are like, yeah, that person's cool, and that's it. That's the whole thing. Like, I don't know. I grew up white, bro. It's hard to really unpack what being racist even means. Right? Because like for instance, Bering just did that he said ignorant thing, which was obviously, you know, he's trying to do an AAVE thing. And it's like man, that's a little bit racist. It's not like a big huge deal. It's a groaner. But they can't even hear that, because when they hear racist, they hear like, I don't know, something more than everyone else is saying. It's like using the word racism as ubiquitous as it's used is because racism is so ubiquitous. That's why. It's not about like it's not about these individual acts, it's about the systemic nature of it. Like stuff you don't even think is racist, you'll be like, "Oh, why is that racist? What do you mean? My grandpappy, blah blah blah." Like it's like I can think of a million like little white things over the years. Like if we had a conversation about, hey, let's try to remember it with just a group of white people, racist shit that we experienced in white spaces where no like other person was around that would be affected by the racism. It's just like little shit that you go like, oh fuck yeah, I do remember that. I don't know, like God, there's just so many things. It's not all targeted at black people either. It's just everybody. Rattle Wings, thanks to the Prime for 3 months. Like fucking cartoons are racist when I was growing up. It's just a thing, man. And it's like being aware of that now somehow makes these chuds like bearing uncomfortable or something. They're like, no, I'm not racist. It's like, bro, when they say you're all racist, right? If you're saying to me, I'm not racist, you might be you might be a little racist. Like, man, I don't even know how to describe that to a guy who's not even willing to start the conversation because he's just so fucking drool-brained. Like, at what point could you even start to have that conversation with Bering? I don't think he's generally interested. Rattlewings. Did I say thank you already? I did.
Well, that you're not racist. How about you focus that energy on trying to work to be
yourself yet? And what if I
educate yourself?
So does that mean that you're racist? Or have you not educated yourself yet? And what if I don't want to be anti-racist? Can't I just not be racist?
Why are you not anti-racist? Wait, what? Are you opposed to other people being racist? I am. What? Wait, why wouldn't you be opposed to other people being racist? Strange. I live in one of the most racist places in America. It's a lifetime of unpacking. Yeah.
I don't want to go out and protest and march and hold signs and shit.
You don't have to. What? Being anti-racist is just like, don't allow racism in your space. Like, if you don't have the spoons to go out and do stuff, then don't. What the fuck? Are you listening to words people say? I think this guy's just a fucking dumbass.
I'll just mind my own business. That's good enough, isn't it?
Number 2.
Are you minding your own business? Is this minding your own business? The Moonlight Mage, thanks for hanging out.
Oh, no, I don't see color. Unless you're clinically colorblind, what you're saying here is, I see that we have 2 different skin colors and we have 2 different experiences in this world, but I'm just going to ignore that because that makes me feel more comfortable. Sweetie, you see color. You just don't want to acknowledge it because you want to defer any responsibility and distance yourself from the issue of racism.
Yep.
That's a pretty good description of it. I have always been made uncomfortable by the I don't see color lie. It's like, obviously you can see what someone looks like. Like, if you can see what someone looks like, and we all go, oh yeah, that's a black person, that's a white person, that's a person of Asian descent, that's a, you go down the list, and it's like, but that's the part that's it, right? You just acknowledge someone looks like this. You can make assumptions about their fucking like heritage if you like, if you're a fucking weird guy, but other than that, like, your aesthetic appearance is something I acknowledge. And now we are off. If you want to talk about your life or it comes up in conversation as friends, cool. But I have, like, when you are like, oh, I don't see color, you have been seeing the colors. Boy, have you been seeing colors. That is sus.
Just don't want to acknowledge it because you want to defer any responsibility.
It's not an issue to me. Of course they see the differences in colour. They just don't really give a shit about it.
Number 3. I was raised to love everyone equally. That's great, but you could be the nicest, most amazing human on the planet and you will still have implicit biases. From a sociological perspective, it's inevitable. It's not enough to just be not racist. You have to work to be anti-racist.
I tend to agree. I don't see color as something that only afforded to white people because other races cannot ignore it like white people. That's the point. Well, white people they don't see color because, I mean, she was right before. They want to distance themselves from the conversation. It's like, I don't want to acknowledge the systemic abuses. I don't want to, like I've never done anything. Like, they get so fucking defensive about it. It's really weird. And I think partly it's because they internalized a lot of that racism. It actually does live in there, and they're ashamed of it. And I think it's real. Like, I've talked to these people. You've talked to your white relatives that have these sort of, like, iffy takes. You know what they've said in the past. You know they're a little racist. It's true. It's not like KKK racist. They're not practicing racists, okay? They are cultural racists. This is a different thing. I think we need to understand. Maybe if we call it cultural racism, I don't know. But, like, there are the devout racists, and there are a lot of the other people who have been party to racism. Now, while I have not been born Christian, I was born into a racist household. My dad was quite racist. Yeah, and it definitely rubbed off. I didn't know that things were fucking racial slurs. infamous video on TBR somewhere where I say a racial slur, and I didn't know it was one. I thought it was. You may be able to guess it. I thought it was a derogatory term that wasn't based in race, specifically for like Vietnamese soldiers during the Vietnam War. And I used it in a chick tract with. You can find it exactly now. I'm talking about it. It was one with Dark Matter, and they were both like, Hannah and Dark Matter were both like, wait, you can't say that. That's a slur. And I was like, wait, what? It's a slur? I didn't even know this kind of shit. That's what I'm talking about. I literally didn't even know. That's how ubiquitous it is. I wouldn't have said it if I thought it was a slur, right? But I didn't mean it as one. I don't think that was Jake's dad. Maybe it was. I think it was like history class or something. But like, you know what I mean? Like that's what I have come from. White people are given a slew of racial slurs that they use in parlance. It's around. Now, that's not as pervasive now. I actually don't notice it in a lot of white spaces now. But when I was growing up, when my grandparents and my parents were younger, it was definitely really common, for sure. And definitely the use of the N-word from time to time. You know, especially when my dad was around. But like, this is a thing. It's something that you again, when you become desensitized to it, it doesn't mean it's not a thing. Talk to your black friends, or frankly any of your friends that aren't white, because I'm going from my experience. I have had my eyes opened by black friends, Arab friends, Asian friends, and like Mexican friends, specifically on like issues that I can think are distinctly separate for them. The Arab one was significant. It was a significant other. And so I had a lot of experience with her experience post 9/11 in America, and it was wild. A lot of fucking racism lodged at her, and from people who are like, I'm not racist. You know what I mean? Same stuff. So I mean, it's totally a thing. You know, you get told stories by, you know, just one of your friends, because I'm white. I didn't grow up with that shit. So like they start telling stories. I'm like, what the fuck? That's your life, dude? Like what? It's just different. Maybe it's an Australian thing, but I know Australia has problems with racism, buddy.
No, like I said, I'll just not be racist and mind my own business, thank you.
Can you be racist to white people?
No.
Why not?
Listen, educate yourself on racism. You cannot be racist to white people.
Oh, educate yourself. You can't be racist towards white people. It's so fucking condescending, isn't it? Well, what if you're a white person in, say, Nigeria, where you don't have any so-called...
What's this music?
Institutionalized institutional power. Does it suddenly shift? Does it automatically make you racist towards white people if you're Nigerian?
Okay. If a black population in a political or socio-political space used their socio-political power to subjugate or otherwise marginalize a group of people based on their skin color, and it happened to be white, that would be racism, yes. Is that satisfying? That would be racism. That's true. It could happen. It's a thing.
But how? Why?
If you look it up, you'll understand. Cracker.
That's racist?
It's not racist. There's a difference.
Actually, it's not racist. I actually don't think that's a slur. I don't think it's a racial slur. That is a slur born out of actions. You know what I mean? I don't know. They actually were enslaved people saw slave owners use whips and ended up with that name that I can't say on Twitch, which is stupid as fuck. Why? I don't think it's a slur. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It could turn into one, I guess. You'd have to really enforce that socially. That's not happening. Like, saying something as a euphemism for someone else is not necessarily racist. The problem is that especially black folks, not in the Western world, like around the world, like, have experienced so much of that that it's like it just happens so much. I can't believe I have to explain racism to Bering. I just decided to bail out. You just got to talk to people that are experiencing these things. It's the only way to learn, bro. You're not gonna just fucking like think yourself out of it. You just gotta fucking talk to people, and not just be like, no, shut up. Just listen.
If it was the other way around, then I'm racist.
Yes, because who was enslaved?
Why are we throwing it back
Exactly.
that far?
Who was enslaved?
Have you ever thought, like, maybe racism isn't real? The higher powers are just controlling and doing that so we fight amongst each other?
Be for real.
I'm being for real. I don't believe in it. Like, why can't we all just be friends?
Cracker.
Cracker. Does this ignorant bitch even know if her ancestors were enslaved? She's a British black person. There's a very good chance they weren't. And even if they were, the British were like the first people to tackle slavery.
To tackle slavery. Jesus Christ.
Is it okay to be racist towards white people?
I don't think it's possible to be racist towards white people. I think that racism, there needs to be a system of oppression. Generally, white people are the ones controlling that system of oppression.
Okay, what if someone came up to you and was like, hey, I hate all white people? Would that be considered racist?
No, absolutely not. I think because we hold so much power in the world.
But what if you came up to me and said, I hate all Asian people? Would that be racist?
Of course that would be racist.
I mean, I generally disagree with the take, but it's like, if you hate people on a personal level based solely on their aesthetics, like, okay, let's talk about it. It's still kind of the same thing, but the reason she mentioned the power is because it's also not the same thing. Because of the power. Okay. So if you say that you hate all white people, where does that come from? Okay? Does it come from years and years of mistreatment at the hands of people that aesthetically look like me? While I agree that that is not a good take, I think that's fucking stupid. I understand where that lives, and it comes from a different reaction than white racism, which comes from the dominance, the domineering over other people, the chattel slavery, the fucking systemic slavery. Like, it's just different, lives in a different space. So while, yeah, it's distasteful if you're like, I hate all whiteys, like, it's not the same plant. So we could call it racism because it's aesthetically similar, but they don't cross-pollinate. It's not the same thing. It's racism, but it's, but it's different. I agree it's racism or something like that. I don't know. I don't know if we need to like qualify a whole new fucking genre of racism here. But yeah, you can be individually racist against a white guy. Normally, however, that's not my fucking experience. Normally, if I get racism, it's microaggressions, just like most of racism, right? If I get racism, if this is what racism is and I get it, it's microaggressive stuff. Like, he's white, he can't play basketball was a thing I experienced a lot, which was false, although I wasn't that great, so they were also right. But also, like, I could play a little bit. It was more than they thought. So it wasn't like an aesthetic thing. But, like, also, that's not a big deal. It's not, I don't know, man. It's just not, it doesn't come from the same spot. It's like a subversion of what racism is. It's like flipping it because of how it had manifested so far socially. But could have gone pro if his ankle. No. No. Jake could have played on a low level college team if his ankle didn't get fucked up. Not NCAA. Like I could have gotten I probably could have gotten like I'm confident I could have walked on to any community college in the country. And I probably could have gotten into like there's a college nearby. I bet I could play. I played with the guys otherwise, but I didn't play on their team because I wasn't old enough yet, and then I didn't go there. It's like when dudes try to say misogyny and misandry are equal. Right, they just live in different spaces. Like, it's a thing. You can hate, like, I agree. If you hate all men, I think it's fucking wrong, but also I get it. Like, if you just on site with all dudes, disagree, but I get it because it lives in a different spot, because usually it comes from the point of view of someone who's been victimized by that group, men. And it happens. It's a thing. And it doesn't live in the space that misogyny comes from, which is usually, again, controlling women and being a man or patriarchy, you know. So, like, yes, they're the same sort of mechanism socially, but it doesn't live the same way. I'd be comfortable saying, yeah, it's racism, fine. But it's not like capital R racism, right? It's not what we're talking about when we talk about systemic racism. Systemic racism is a thing. And if you want to use the qualifier racism is like an isolated singular person, and then systemic racism is everybody else, cool. Then let's talk about that. But like this just whinging about like, yeah, I'm not actually racist. Just shut up, man. Just like, let's fucking talk about it then. This is obviously a problem. It's a reflex to being treated subhuman. Yeah, I mean, I can get it.
What? Yeah, I don't even have any comment for this one. It's just pure stupidity.
If you could be any race other than the one you are, which would it be?
That's a great question. Black?
Now, this one is interesting. You see, black people are held down by the systemic systems of oppression and institutionalization. But if you could be any other race, what would it be? Oh, black, of course. Well, that makes complete fucking sense.
What is your current race?
I'm white.
What is one thing that you take pride in about being white?
Bait, dude. This kind of content is so fucking like a little black-pilled, man. Anyway.
There's a lot I look down upon being white.
Yeah, of course he looks down upon being white. Because he's a white savior, a white martyr. What a pussy.
What is something that you appreciate about black culture?
I just went to a recent concert that had a lot of black artists that I think are extremely inspiring. A lot of what they rap about is something that I cannot experience firsthand, and I'd like to understand it better. And part of that understanding I don't think I will achieve because I'm white.
What a little white kid, man. He's trying. He'll get out of his cringe phase. It's okay. Let people be cringe, man. They're just being little cringe guys. He's just cringe about it. It's cool. He means well. He's just a liberal and a kid, and you know he's not gonna have the right answers to everything. That's okay. These man on the street situations are fucking dumb, though. What do you appreciate about white culture? Man, potato salad. Raisins in the potato salad, my dude. Just kidding. So let's talk about white culture for a second, because Bearing has like little to no meat on the bone here, and so we got to make our own content. Surprise! I was the content all along. Not that this video has to be longer or anything, but white culture. So when I think of white culture, I think of my personal experience of being a white person, and that isn't the experience of other white people in America. We're lefties. We've talked about this a little bit and a lot of it, and it keeps coming up. Black pride, white pride. Why can't we have white pride? We have like a continuous like through line of like white culture, man. Usually white people break down into their smaller subgroups when they have pride. They usually have like Italian pride or Irish pride or German pride or something like that. Now, my family doesn't do that. We just have being cockies. And we don't talk about it ever because we're just who we are. It never comes up. However, there's been entire groups of people who have, by white people, been marginalized specifically for their aesthetic appearance, and any assumptions that they've been piled on for them based on that, aesthetic. And people reclaim things. It seems really easy to understand if you're not a fucking sludge brain. People reclaim that, and then so now, like, what was once used to subjugate them is used as a source of pride. This is a common through line in like you know, happened during the fucking Holocaust, happened during American chattel slavery. These are two social groups that I think are pretty easy to identify the reason why they rally around each other, and continue to be forced to in a lot of ways, especially the black community in America, because, like, you know, they're still systemically held down mostly by the mechanisms of capitalism. KKK ruined white pride. I mean, it's not just the KKK. I don't think white pride exists in general. I don't think we identify... Like, I have never been a part of a social group that has been white and identified based specifically on the hue of their skin and about, like, being white. If I've ever been a part of any of that, it's always been a cultural festival because they were, like, you know, they had moved from somewhere. They emigrated from, you know, the homeland, wherever that is, Britain, fucking, you know, we're all not from here originally. And that's what they use because, of course, that's what your cultural tie is. It's not white. It's something else. What happened here is we took people from all over the continent of Africa, a lot from the same spots, but, you know, all over, who had different cultures. You can actually read about a lot of these different cultures, read history books written by black folks from the time, like, you know, man, like the food that they cooked, and, you know, they're not all from the same communities and stuff. And then out of that, a new culture arose in spite of the conditions, and that's what black culture turns into today, right? It's just like, it's its own thing. It had to be. It got isolated and pushed away from its roots. Like, not at all like white people have their fucking heritage at all. And so it's like, it's so weird to equate the two experiences. For the same reason I cringe at people demanding straight pride, they're already seen as de facto. I mean, I've never really... Like, straight people, we don't... The experience of being straight is not one where I need to I don't feel the need to be like, I'm straight. That said, if the gays ever did come after us, I would fight against them. If they were ever like, you can't be straight, I'd be like, no, everyone's got to live their life, man. But I don't think the authoritarian forced gay army is happening anytime soon, personally.
Fuck your bitch. I'ma fuck your bitch.
I am proud to be white.
Oh, so this is one of those questionnaire type videos where the lines to the left of your screen are varying degrees of no, and the lines to the right of your screen are varying degrees of yes.
3, 2, 1.
Just be in the middle.
Yeah. Can there be a middle?
All right.
Gotta pick a side.
But this is what I mean, like, this is the general vibe of most people that are white. This is accurate.
I don't know what's such a big.
What? Looks like we've got a white supremo at the back. You can't in any way, shape or form say yes to that question. That would be racist.
Don't hate you guys.
I almost went there too. It's like,
I think,
so
like,
hard.
guiltily, like, I'm, like, happy that I'm not oppressed.
Guiltily, I'm happy that I'm not oppressed. Love, you don't have to be guilty about that. And I don't see exactly how black people are oppressed these days anyway.
But I'm not.
Of course. I mean, I don't feel white guilt at all. I don't feel remorse or anything like that. For, like, it's so silly. No one, I think... Most white people don't feel fucking white guilt. It's not really, that's like a lib phenomenon.
Proud of, like, things people have done in the past.
When I think of being proud of something, I think of something I worked for, or that I had to do nothing to be white, absolutely nothing, and nothing was taken from me because I was white.
It's like saying I'm a proud white person is a completely different saying than saying I'm a proud black person.
Why? You can't be proud of the things your people have achieved?
People have achieved? I don't place that at the feet of whiteness. It's so weird. I don't take personal pride in Einstein's fucking theory or any of that. That's so odd. No, I'm not. Apparently, I find myself far more adequate than these other men, like Bering. They need to find the accomplishments of their betters to feel like, worthwhile. What a fucking pathetic life.
I mean, there's a difference between being proud of the colour of your skin and being proud of the achievements of your people.
My people, I don't care. I'm not proud of the achievements of my people. I don't have that. Like, what? I was not involved at all in that. I'm so proud of my people for crawling out of the fucking rivers of time and onto land. How far back do I have to go?
Is it okay to be a proud Scandinavian, or is that racist?
Because when you hear I'm a proud black person,
did you hear yourself? A proud Scandinavian is not a proud white person. That would be a person from Scandinavia.
I think empowerment, I think strength, I think courage, I think, all these amazing things that the black community has done and accomplished throughout the years. But then when you say I'm a proud white person, already there's so much hate involved in that.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't the most eloquent way to put that, and it was a little cringe again, but these are just folks. You know what I mean? They don't have to have a really nuanced opinion here. All they got to do is understand, hey, racism's a real thing that we should address, and they're on their way to figuring that out over time. They're young. Real shit, MAGA racists love to default to the accomplishments of other people to prove that whites are superior. Of course. I don't know how it proves the whites are superior. But it does happen.
Yeah, that's because you have this thing called white guilt. Again, you're a savior. You're a martyr. You're a virtue signaler.
I don't know if that's the case, man. I just think they have social context. That's just a thing. It's like saying, I don't know. What's a socially, man, I don't know, Jared from Subway? If you're not clued in on Jared from Subway, you'd be like, oh man, yeah, I remember Jared from Subway. How's he doing? You feel me? You're just not clued in on the social context, apparently, of what white pride happens to usually mean. The phrase has been sullied the same way the swastika's been sullied. I guess that's a better one. The swastika, once the Nazis used it, well, there goes that design, that geometric shape. Can't do it again.
The thing about that is like how you said, someone who says I'm proud to be black, that's empowerment. Why aren't I allowed to be proud to be white? What makes it wrong?
Yeah, what are you proud of? Just your skin color? Because yes, that is wrong.
So you're saying I can't be proud to be white because I don't have a culture.
What is your culture? No, do you have white culture? I've never, as a white guy, I've never experienced white culture. We don't have a ubiquitous thing that happens. A white guy in Texas is not the same as a white guy in Minnesota. You know what I mean? I don't know what, as a white guy, I don't know what white culture is. I know what my family's culture is like. I know what my friends' culture is like, sort of.
It has to do.
You know what I mean? We don't have white culture. We can make jokes about it because, again, it doesn't we're white people and we don't care. It's fine. You can make jokes about white folks. We get it. A little return serve, if you will. Dink. You get to make jokes about white people. Fine. Fine. You can have your pride in in uniquely white things. Pedophilia, pedophilia, racism, religious persecution. I'm sad to say, are not uniquely white things. Good luck. I wish that was the case. No. The bear guy is so good at trying to rescue white people from this imagined guilt like a savior. He seemed to be signaling his virtue. I wonder if there's a term for that. No, there's probably not.
No, that's not what I'm saying. It's that when white people say they're proud to be white, a lot of times, at least in my opinion, they're talking about their skin color, that they're not a different race.
Really excited in this conversation. Heart's going.
I think that's wrong.
Yeah, see, you think they're talking about their skin colour, and you think that's wrong. She even brought up culture. Why can't she be proud of her culture? You fucking simp. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there.
That's the end of your video? He filled his 10 minutes. Jesus Christ, what a fucking lazy guy. Holy shit, dude. I'm going to leave it there. All right. Wow, I did so much more work than him that video. That's Bearing's video. What a content guy. Nothing else to say. I'm going to leave it there. That's my 10. It's my hot 10 minutes. What a guy, dude. Beautiful in every way. Bearing, I would love to talk to you. You seem like a simple bloke. That's what you guys say, right? You little bears down there. Yeah, I'd love to talk to you, man. Can hang out. I'll smoke some weed. You can drink some, I was going to say Foster's, but I assume you don't drink that? Because you're a cool Australian. You drink something else. Drinks lemonades, which is actually a Sprite in Australia. Anyway, that's the end of the Bearing video. He's a dumb boy. I'm probably not going to watch another Bearing video for another 2 years. Then we'll be like, oh shit, he's a thing. And then we'll do that in the future. You know? I think that's the best way to consume Bearing content from now on. Is every 2 years, maybe. Maybe 3.